Beth Williams. I'm a yoga teacher and a personal trainer, and I'm here today to teach you an alignment flow yoga class. So we'll have some flow interlaced with some pauses and focuses on key actions and poses. And today I want to specifically focus on using the breath to help to gain access to your deep front line or your deep core line rather. And then also I'd like for us to focus on, I'll teach you how to use the concept of pushing the floor away from you to also access your deep core line. So having a curious attitude for your practice today. So being curious, having a beginner's mind, and just paying attention to what you notice in your body as you're practicing today. And so that's basically what we'll be focusing on. And I'd like for you to start seated in a comfortable position. You can have your hands onto your lap, and let's go ahead and close the eyes and just take some time to arrive into this practice, feeling a sense of your awareness, honing in to this body, to this mind, to this breath. And bringing awareness down from the mind, awareness all the way down to where your body makes contact with the floor beneath you, with a cushion if you're sitting on some height. And feel that the weight of your body can just get a little heavier. You might even, for the next few exhales, feel a sense of yourself really grounding down through your feet, through your pelvis, your sit bones. And then actively feel like as you are grounding down through your foundational points, that it's through that effort of grounding and pressing down that you can access your pelvic floor, your abdominal core, all the way up through the respiratory diaphragm, all the way up through the throat and the palate, and through the center of the brain, so that as we ground down, we're also lifting and lengthening up through the very center of our being. And so when you exhale, now noticing that on the exhalation that the pelvic floor lifts upwards. There's a natural lifting that happens on the exhalation. And on the inhalation, there's a natural lowering of the pelvic floor, or relaxing, if you will. Then you can imagine with each exhale that lifting of the pelvic floor is lifting up towards the navel. So you can feel the transverse abdominis drawing in and around your abdominal organs with each exhale. And there's a sense of an upward flight, if you will, as you exhale, that drawing upwards, all the way up to the palate, You might even, as weird as it may seem, use your tongue into the top of the soft palate to make that noise. And notice how when you do that, how you get some engagement through your core. Good. Okay, let's draw the hands together at the heart center in Anjali Mudra and press your hands into each other symmetrically with about 30% effort, especially when you exhale here. Just getting some more engagement. And as you inhale, feel that there's a sense of space around that center where you've been focusing your engagement through the core. So it's so important that we don't just focus on our strength here, but we also have a balance between the spacious quality of ourself. So there's a balance between our effort and our ease, our knowing and our curiosity. Good. And we'll just bow in, head in towards the heart center, and begin our practice. Releasing the hands down. I didn't mention before, but I have 3 blocks today for practice. So if you have a third block, great. If not, that's okay. You don't have to have a third block. We'll improvise. So let's go ahead and come into child's pose. So you can widen your knees a little bit. Walk your hands forward. And let's make our hands nice and active. And spread the fingers so the fingertips point forward. Lengthen the spine. And lift your elbows. Lift the undersides of your armpits up towards the sky. And maybe the forehead rests to the floor. Go ahead, walk your hands over to the left. Push with your right hand in particular to get your right hip back. Take a breath in here. Exhale out all of your air, feeling your abdominal core engaging. Walk back to center on the inhale. Exhale to press the hips back. Keeping the arms active. Inhale, walk the hands to the right. Exhale, press with the left hand to get the left hip back a little more towards the left heel. And then inhale back to center. Exhale out your air. And push with your hands here. And on your inhale, coming forward to a tabletop position. Pausing in tabletop. So to align the spine, I want you to put your awareness into the back of your head. So just imagine where the space at the back of the head is in space. And see if you can bring the back of the head in alignment with the back of the heart. So you might also have to lift the back of the heart a little bit or lower it. And then see if you can bring the back of the head, the back of the heart in line with the center of your sacrum. So we have more of a neutral position here. It's okay if you don't get it right, just, the fact that we're being curious and trying to figure out where we are in space is plenty of effort here. And then keeping that, let's take the right leg back, connect the right toes down to the floor. So you get a little gentle stretch through the right calf. Now as you push the hands into the floor, notice the engagement that you get underneath the armpit. And press the right foot into the floor. And then from there, just barely lift your left knee, just barely. So we're pushing the floor away from us to gain access to the core. Lower the left knee down. Keep the left knee rooted. Now lift the right leg up, squeezing the right glutes. Now you might stay here, or you might lift your left arm forward and up, parallel to the floor. Turning the left thumb up. Let's take another breath here. Good, exhale, take the left hand down, take the right toes down. Take the right inner edge of the foot to the floor, inner heel to the floor, spin the left shin out a little bit, and then let's rotate the chest open and reach the right hand towards the sky. Press the left hand down strongly. Feel the left armpit area engage to feel a lightness through the torso. And then optionally lift your right leg parallel to the floor. Squeezing the outer right hip, we'll hold for another breath in. And then lower your right foot down to a count of 5 seconds. Take 5 seconds to lower. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Returning back to tabletop. Good, and then just find that those 3 points at the back of the body are in one line. Center of sacrum, back of the heart, back of the head. Good, let's keep that as we take the left toes back, connect the left toes to the floor. Push strongly through your foundational points and lift your right knee just a little bit. Breathe. Nice slow exhale to lower the right knee. And then lift the left leg parallel to the floor, squeezing the glutes. Keep that connection of your lower abdominals engaging. You have the option of lifting the right arm forward. Holding here for one more breath in. And then out. Connect the right hand to the floor, the left toes to the floor. And then take the inner edge of the left foot to the floor, inner heel to the floor. Spin the right shin out, about 15 degrees. Pressing into the right hand, really strongly to lift the left fingertips up towards the sky. I'm even looking up to that left thumb. And then option of lifting the left leg parallel to the floor, squeezing the outer left hip muscles. And on an exhale, we'll slowly lower that left leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Returning back to tabletop. And we'll make our way next into a downward facing dog pose. Curling the toes under, lifting the knees and the hips up and back. And the foundation begins in the hands. So pressing through the hands. Making sure that the outer shoulder blades draw in towards the armpits. And the outer hips engaging to stretch the outer heels towards the floor. Good. Now from here, let's step the right foot so that it's directly behind the left foot. And then you might even just connect your right toes to the left heel to work towards stretching the outer left heel towards the floor. One breath. Keep your arms strong. Good, connect your right foot back down to the floor, regular downward dog. And step the left foot behind the right foot. You might stay there, or you might connect the left toes to the right heel, Achilles. Stretching that outer right heel towards the floor. One more breath. I know there's some warmth in the shoulders now. Good, exhale, return the left foot to the floor. And look at the space between your hands. You can either walk or hop your feet forward to the top of the mat. And come into an Uttanasana forward fold. Feet are about hip distance apart. If your hamstrings are feeling particularly tight, bend your knees a little more. And just let the spine decompress here for another breath. And grounding through the feet. Let's inhale to rise up and reach the arms out and up. Exhale, take the hands to the heart center in Anjali Mudra. Inhale, stretch the arms out and up. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. You might take your fingertips to your shins or keep them on the floor. And then exhale to forward fold. See if you can get your palms to the floor as you forward fold. It's okay if you can't. And then from here, let's step the right foot back and then the left foot back into a plank position. Pausing here, take a breath in. Exhale, lower down, option of knees down as you bend your elbows. Lower the chest to the floor. Point the toes back. Inhale to curl up into a cobra. Curling the upper back. Exhale to push yourself up and back to downward facing dog pose. Taking a breath here. Exhaling out your air. Bend your knees, lift your heels, push strongly into your hands and lightly walk or hop the feet forward to the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Maybe you're on your fingertips here. Exhale to forward fold. Folding in. Inhale to rise up, reach up. Stretch the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart. Anjali Mudra. Inhale, reach arms up. Stretch up towards the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthening the spine. Exhale, plant your hands down, step your left foot back, then your right foot back to plank. Inhale here. Exhale, option of lowering knees down, chaturanga. And inhale into cobra or upward dog. And exhale back to downward dog. Breathing in here. Exhaling out your air. Lift your heels, bend your knees, lightly walk or hop the feet forward. When you get there, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Stretch fingers up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, stretch the arms up. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Halfway lift on your inhale. Chaturanga Dandasana on your exhale. You can step to plank or hop to Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Take a breath in here. Push with your hands strongly. Exhale out your air. Feel the tone of your belly, your pelvic floor. Walk or hop your feet forward with that tone. Good. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Ground through your feet. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Exhale, join your hands together at your heart center. Pausing here in mountain pose. Good. So we're going to go back into an Uttanasana, forward fold. If you cannot quite touch the floor, when you're in Uttanasana, let's say you're here, or maybe you can touch with your fingertips, but you can't get your palms flat, I'll recommend that you have blocks beneath the hands so that the elbows are straight, the palms are flat, the hands are the same distance as they would be in downward facing dog. So finding that Uttanasana, finding the height of your blocks to where you can have your palms flat like downward dog and the same distance apart as your dog. And then push down into your hands and lift your heels a little bit. And if you feel like your feet are too far forward, you can always put them back just a few inches. And every time you exhale here, in this curiosity phase of Uttanasana, you can lift your heels a little bit, put weight into your hands, and then as you inhale, lower the heels back down, taking the weight out of the hands. And we'll just do that a few more times. Exhale to shift the weight forward. Even press strongly through your fingertips as you lift your heels. Inhale, rocking back onto the heels, weight out of the wrists. Let's do that twice more. So hopefully you're starting to feel some engagement from your feet, up your legs, all the way up to the pelvic floor, the abdominal wall. You might even feel it higher up to the palate. Beautiful. And then from there, lower the heels. Grab the backs of your calves with the fingertips pointing down. Now push your hands into the calves so that you're unlocking the knees. You're assisting the unlocking of the knees. Good. And use your hands to pull yourself in towards your thighs. Pull your torso in towards your thighs. And engaging the abdominal wall like you're doing a crunch. Get yourself a little closer towards the thighs. Let the head decompress. The neck, the head. Good. Now release. Beautiful. Inhale, rise up, reach the arms up, stretch fingers towards the sky. And exhale, join your hands to heart center. As we're working with the breath and pushing down, like I said earlier, to really access the core. So feet about hip distance apart. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Keep the arms lifted alongside the ears, palms facing each other. Exhale, sit into a chair pose. So weight is equally through the heels, ball mounds and toes. Another breath here. Exhale, forward fold. Bowing in towards you, feel your core to draw your torso closer towards your thighs. Lift your sit bones. And then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands. You can step back to plank or hop back, chaturanga, dandasana, bending elbows. And then inhale, cobra or upward dog. Push the floor away from you. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Good. Inhale, lift your right leg up. Three-legged dog. Exhale, bring your right knee towards your nose. Shift your weight forward so your shoulders are more over the wrists. And then step your right foot between your hands. Inhale, rise up to a high crescent lunge. Reaching the arms up alongside the ears. Let's take another inhale here. Exhale, take the hands down to the floor. Frame the right foot with the hands. Find your plank pose, inhale. Exhale, lower down, option of knees down, chaturanga. And inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, lift the left leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring the left knee in towards the nose, but see if you can shift your shoulders over the wrists to step the left foot forward. And rising up, high crescent lunge. Left knee is bent. Arms up alongside the ears. Another breath here. Exhale, hands to the floor. Plank pose. Inhale and plank. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Through cobra or upward dog, inhale. And back to downward dog, exhale. Take a breath in here.
Good. Bend the knees, lift the heels, push through the hands to hop or walk the feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up, chair pose. Hips are back. Exhale out your air, push down into the floor. And inhale, rise up. Arch your upper back. And exhale, hands to heart. Take a breath here, in and out. Good, sweep the arms out and up, inhale. Good, exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga Dandasana or plank as you exhale. Cobra or upward dog. Inhale. Exhale, downward dog. Good, let's lift the right leg up. Inhale, three-legged dog. Step the right foot between the hands as you exhale. Spin the left foot down so that the outer edge of the foot is in line with the short side of the mat. Bend the right knee, and on your next in-breath, windmill your arms out into a T, warrior two, looking past your right fingertips. Keeping equal weight through the feet and through the four corners of the feet. Side angle pose. On your exhale, take your right forearm to your right thigh. Sweep your left arm past the ear and turn the chest up towards the sky, looking up towards your top arm. And I'm using a little bit of tractioning of my right forearm into the right knee, moving the right knee and thigh away from the pelvis. On your exhale, bring your hands down to the floor. Find your plank pose, inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg floats up, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the left foot between the hands and lower that right foot down so the outer edge of the foot is in line with the short side of the mat. Bending the left knee. And on your inhale, rising up, warrior two. Arms out into a T shape. And looking past the left fingertips. Breathing here. Feeling the cinching, the drawing up and in on the exhalations. Feeling the spaciousness with each inhalation. Side angle, extended side angle, left elbow to left thigh. Right arm past the right ear. And just using the gentle tractioning, the pressure of the left elbow into the left thigh to lengthen the left neck, the left knee away from the inner pelvis. Good, on an exhale, take the hands down to the floor. Find your downward facing dog pose. Exhaling out your air. Bend the knees, lift the heels, look at the hands. Hop the feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Let all of your air out. Inhale, rise up, reach up. Stretch the fingers towards the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Pause here. Good. sweep arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Chaturanga Dandasana, exhale. Cobra or upward dog, inhale. And back to downward dog, exhale. Inhaling to lift the right leg, three-legged dog. Exhale, step the right foot between the hands. Seal the left foot down. And inhale, rise up, warrior two. Looking past your right fingertips. Now, as you straighten your right knee, see if you can keep it from locking. Tack your outer right hip and sit bone back in towards your left sit bone. And going into Trikonasana, we'll turn the palms to face forward. Hinge from that right hip. And looking up towards the left fingertips. Remember that there's a little counter twist of the upper torso here. Now you might stay in triangle pose, or if you'd like, you can go into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. So I'm going to grab my block at the top of the mat, take my left hand to the left hip, and then from there, I'll step the left foot about halfway forward. The block in my right hand comes out about a foot in front of the pinky toe, and then lifting the left leg using the outer left hip muscles. Just like we did in triangle, turning the head and the chest to look up, and maybe even reaching the left hand up. Okay, back to triangle. Find that stance, that triangle stance. Inhale to rise up. Good. Exhale to windmill the hands down to the floor. Bend your right knee as you do so. Plank pose. Inhale here. And exhale, chaturanga. Always have the option of lowering your knees down if you need it. Inhale, cobra or upward dog. Chest open. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, left leg lifts up, three-legged dog. Exhale, left foot between hands, seal the right foot down. Rising up, warrior two, inhale. Now, as you straighten the left knee, try not to lock the knee. Good, wrap the left sit bone back towards the right sit bone. Turn the palms to face alongside of the mat, that wall. Hinge from your left hip, triangle pose. Looking up towards your right hand. Just keep the breath fluid. Now you might stay here, or you might go into half moon pose, grabbing that block that's near the left foot. Take the right hand to the right hip for now. Step the right foot about halfway forward, the block just about a foot out in front of the left pinky toe. Push strongly into that left foot to lift the right leg. So you're really starting to access your center. Now keep all of that and see if you can start to turn your upper chest towards the sky, and maybe lift the right hand up and look up. Steady, steady, steady. Stay grounded through your left foot. With your curiosity, you're staying focused. What is interesting to you about this pose? Good, then we're gonna come out of it. So we'll land that right foot back to triangle. Open the chest and a hand up triangle. Looking up. And then bending the left knee. Inhale, rising up. And exhale, windmill your hands down to the floor. Downward facing dog pose. On your exhale, lower your knees down. And from here, we're going to lower the elbows and the forearms down under the shoulders. Interlace your fingers. The knees are beneath the hips here. And press strongly into your elbows and your forearms. It's okay if your upper back rounds here. It's actually preferable. Feel the difference if you collapse your chest towards the floor. Notice how the belly softens. And then notice how it feels when you start to press the elbows down strongly and to round the upper back, how you get more engagement through your front line and your deep core line. Now keep your head lifted from the floor. This might be where you stay. This really does work upper body strength. Or you can curl your toes under and lift your knees and start to tiptoe, walk your feet in towards your elbows. So just trying to get in as far as you can, feet towards elbows, and placing weight more into the upper body. Now, if you have high blood pressure, this is a contraindicated pose. You're feeling pressure in your eyes. You might walk your feet back, see if that relieves it. Just keep breathing. And then we'll lower the knees down. Take a child's pose. And sitting up here so that you're sitting on your heels. You're stretching through the quadriceps here, closer to the knees. And then take your hands further back so that they're on the floor, just right behind your feet. And press into the hands to lift the chest. Squeeze your inner thighs towards each other isometrically. You might even lift your bum a little bit and lengthen your tailbone towards your direction of your knees. To stretch the quads a little bit more. Good, and then rising up. Let's inhale to stretch the arms up. Exhale to take the hands forward. Come into downward facing dog pose. Take a breath in here. Exhale out your air. Lightly walk or hop the feet forward. When you get to the top of the mat, inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to rise up, reach up, stretch the arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Keeping hands to heart center. We're going to step the right foot back for diamond pose, rooting into the back foot pretty strongly, keeping both legs straight, keeping the hips forward, the spine neutral. And as you forward fold here, aiming your heart center towards the left knee. Hands can come down to the floor if they reach. If they don't reach, you can always put blocks underneath your hands. I'm going to have my fingertips on the floor here and make tented fingers, drawing energy from my fingertips as I isometrically drag them in towards the center of my palm, all the way up to the shoulders. Pushing so strongly into the hands or the fingers, you start to feel a sense of levity in the left foot, like it could lift up, which gives me a little more grounding through the right foot and the right heel. Good, now bend the left knee, and inhale, rise up, warrior one. Ground equally through both feet here. Pushing down into the floor to get a little more lift. So just as much as I'm rooting down, I'm lifting up. Good. Tadasana, hands to heart. Just pausing here for a breath. In and out. You recenter, reconnoiter. Stepping the left foot back for a diamond, for Parsvottanasana. Good, leveling the hips. Left hip forward, outer right hip back. Equal weight through both feet, and the knees are unlocked. Just take a breath in here, and on the exhale, hinge from the right hip, keeping the legs straight. Folding forward from that right hip, fingertips either to the floor or to blocks if you can't quite reach the floor. And I'm isometrically dragging my fingers in towards the center of the palm. Pushing into the left heel. Isometrically dragging the right foot back so I get some levity there. A little feeling of lifting through the right foot. And then bend the right knee and rise up, warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Reaching the arms up. Strong through the feet and the legs. And stepping forward here, Tadasana. And I'm just going to towel off a little bit of sweat, and get a sip of water. Get back to Tadasana. So before we come down, if you vinyasa down, if you have that third block, go ahead and grab it. So just want to have all three of them close by. Otherwise, you'll just use your 2 blocks. Inhale, just sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the right foot back and lower the right knee down. If you need to put a cushion underneath the knee, you can slide one down underneath the knee. Now, we're going to move towards Ardha Hanumanasana and possibly into a variation of Hanumanasana. So we are going to have one of the blocks, depending upon how tight your hamstrings are. If they're pretty tight, you'll start at the tallest setting, and you're going to place that underneath the left upper thigh bone. And then one block, if you only have one block, just place it underneath the right hand. Otherwise, if you have that third one, you can place it underneath both hands and push into the floor to straighten the left leg. Okay, so we want to make sure that the left thigh bone is supported. The right knee is back at a comfortable degree. And then from there, you can find the height of your block or blocks to where you can be more upright and vertical. And we're not being lazy through the legs, so we're going to root down into the left heel and isometrically drag the left foot back. Root down into the right knee and isometrically drag the right knee forward. That's it. Just lifting up through the torso, through the head. A few more breaths. Good, okay. So we're just gonna put weight down into the blocks carefully. Slide that left foot back. Good, so you're back into a lunge. And we'll just switch things out here. Transition so that the right foot is forward, the left knee is back. And I'm gonna place that tall block so that it'll be somewhere underneath my right thigh bone. This is my tighter side, also my weaker side. So, just gonna find where that block needs to be the most supportive for me. Okay. And remember, we want to stay active in the legs. So press down through the right heel, isometrically drag the right foot back. Press down into the left knee, isometrically drag the left knee forward. Chest is lifted. And drawing in from your foundation, in and up. Beautiful. So to come out, I'm just going to take my blocks forward a little bit, slide the right heel back, and move that block out of the way. I'm going to bring the right knee back. And you can go ahead and sit back onto your heels if that's comfortable for you and watch. This is a little bit of a tutorial for a headstand. So you're more than welcome to go to the wall, especially if this is something that's new for you. I don't want you to kick your legs up if you can, because then you'll always kick your legs up when you go into headstand. And when we kick our legs up, we're not using our core strength to come up. We're just using momentum. And when that happens, the foundation becomes unrooted from the floor. So your hands will lift, your elbow will lift, and that can put your neck into harm's way. So you always want to have a strong foundation when you are working in a yoga pose, particularly when you're going upside down. So I am going to take off my ring because it usually gets in the way. And I'm going to tuck in my shirt as well. So, got that going. All right, shirt tucked in, check. Ring is off, check. And so we'll just work it into a couple of stages for you guys, so you can work on whichever stage works best for you, but watch first, okay? If you already know how to do headstand, you're more than welcome to go into it. So we're going to start off with the hands interlaced and the elbows under the shoulders, and push the floor away from you. And then bring your head down, the top of the head. So this part of the head should be on the floor, not near your hairline, the very top of your head, on the floor.
And you only want about maybe 5% of weight through your head if you're a beginner, and 95% of the weight through your arms. Okay? And then curl your toes under, lift your knees up, and walk your feet in, much like we did earlier in that dolphin dog. And notice how when I lift my heels here, I'm getting a little more the hips back. So this might be where you stay. Okay? Or if you'd like, you can bring your knees one at a time in towards the chest. Or you might start to lift your knees towards the sky. You might start to lift your feet towards the sky. Squeeze the thighs, squeeze the feet. Push down through your arms. Okay, when you're ready to come out, you can lower one foot then the other. Lower the knees down and rest in child's pose. Okay, so there's your tutorial. And so you're more than welcome now to go through the stages. You might start off just first with the knees down, interlaced fingers. You might bring your head to the floor and just work on pressing the elbows down, feeling the engagement of the armpits. You might work next on walking the feet in towards your elbows, lifting your butt up, trying to get your butt so that it's right above the shoulders. You might bring one knee in towards the abdomen, lifting that foot off of the floor. And then you might lift the other knee in towards the abdomen, lifting both feet off of the floor. Be careful, keep pushing down into your elbows. Try to keep your neck strong and long, not compressed. You might lift your knees towards the ceiling. You might lift your feet towards the ceiling with straight legs. Find a focal point to stare at. Keep breathing. You might hold for 5 more breaths here. If you've come out, that's fine. Try to come out with control. And make sure you give yourself time to rest in child's pose. So even if you didn't get your feet off of the floor, don't worry, just be curious. Like, what is the information that I'm receiving from this? What can I learn about myself in this? And keep in mind that just by efforting each phase, you are getting stronger. And some of us may not ever get to where we can get our feet off of the floor, but it's really about that the journey. You hear people say the journey along the way. Make that what's interesting rather than the end goal. Okay, so fantastic. So if you haven't already, you can come out. And so we're sitting onto our heels here. And we're going to sit so that our right side of the sit bone is on the floor and the knees are bent, the feet are off to the left side of the pelvis. Good. And then from here, let's take the left fingertips to the left side of the feet there. Reach the right arm forward and up. Just take a nice deep breath here. And then on your exhale, I want you to lean over towards the left. You might even walk your left fingertips over towards the left. Stretching the right side body. You can come back to upright. Now take your left foot and place it to the outside of the right thigh. See if you can center both of your sit bones to the floor. If that's not happening, then you can straighten your right leg. Okay? All right, so both sit bones to the floor and hugging that left knee in towards the right armpit. Inhale to stretch the left arm up, get some length through your torso. Exhale to twist to your left, looking over the left shoulder. Finding a soft gaze.
remember when I first got very serious about practicing yoga. I had a little one. She'll be 24 this year. But, I did it when I was pregnant with her as well. I was very serious about it. But my seriousness started to fade when I started to realize what was most important in life, and that's my family. And I know that I would get upset or angry if my practice was interrupted, and I thought, well, this isn't being compassionate and spiritual at all if I'm getting angry with my children interrupting my practice. So I learned how to lighten up and to just let things be as they were, come out of the twist here, instead of always having a serious demeanor when I practiced my yoga. And that doesn't work for everybody, but it certainly had to work for me, being what we call a householder in yoga philosophy. So coming out of that, we're going to sit back onto the heels for just a moment. And so then my children learned that I would practice my yoga and they would give me some space, but it was not uncommon for me to be doing a headstand and my children and my dogs coming over and being an extra challenge for me to not falter or fall down. So my feet are to the outside of the right hip, the left hip is down, and I'm going to walk my right fingertips away from the right foot, sweep the left arm up, and arch laterally over to the right, getting a stretch on the left side of the body. Life is too serious to be taken seriously all the time. So learning to adopt a curious attitude. So as you release the left hand down, you can take the right foot to the outside of the left thigh and find that both of your sit bones are on the floor. And if that's not happening for you today, let's say if you get the right sit bone down and your right foot is really lifted, then you might consider straightening your left leg. Okay. And I'm going to take hold of that right knee with my left hand to guide the knee in towards the left armpit. Reach the right arm up, inhale, and exhale, take a twist to the right, looking over the right shoulder. Back to center. And ultimately what I found is that even though this can be a disciplined and austere practice, there are moments where I can connect with that attitude. But knowing that I'm not a sage or an ascetic by any means, I'm a mother of two and a wife and have a busy life. So finding joy in my yoga practice is what's most important for me. So what's most important to you in your yoga practice? Everyone's different. I'm curious to know. So we're going to come out of that and we'll make our way onto our back side. You want to make sure you just have one of your blocks close by. So coming onto your back for a bridge pose with the knees bent, the feet on the floor. Pressing down into the feet to lift the hips, to lift the spine. You might bring your shoulder blades a little bit closer together. See if you can press through your feet to lift your hips a little more. And maybe interlace your fingers together. Looking straight up towards the ceiling.
so that the space right behind the eyes is what's centered there into the mat. Strong legs and feet pushing down to get a lift. And then lowering down, release the hands. I'm going to go into bridge again. This time we're going to lift one leg, lower that foot, and then lift the other leg for a single leg bridge. So coming up into your bridge, lifting your hips, interlace your fingers if that's available to you. And I'm going to shift the weight over into the left foot, bring the right knee in, and lift the right leg up, point the right toes. Push strongly through your left foot, breathe. Keep breathing. Keep pushing into the left foot. Are you with me? Lower your right foot down. Push strongly into the right foot, bring the left knee in and lift the left foot up. Point the left toes. Try to keep your hips pretty level to the floor. Keep your right leg strong. Breathe. Push down to rise up. It's like being curious. You gotta keep looking, right? Keep noticing. And then what gives you that little bit of passion, that little bit of spark? And follow that. Good, lower the left foot down, release the hands, lower the hips down. Just rest onto your back a little bit. The things that make me curious and make me feel like I'm coming alive with passion obviously is yoga, but it's also just being in nature, because nature is always changing. And so I just love being outside, and doing yoga outside is spectacular. Okay, so you can either do a supported bridge if you're starting to feel like you need to just calm things down. You can place a block beneath the pelvis here and just rest. Now, those of you that have the wheel pose Urdhva Dhanurasana in your practice, if you want to go into Urdhva Dhanurasana at this time, you can. Otherwise, you'll stay here in this supported bridge, and I'll just go ahead and show you Urdhva Dhanurasana. Those of you that don't know it, hands are underneath the shoulders, fingers point towards the direction of the feet. Elbows are pointing up. Push down into your feet, lift your hips, lift your upper body. And pressing with the feet strongly, lifting the heart. Those of you that are in wheel, just stay with the breath. Stay with the strength of the legs. When you're ready to come out, make sure you tuck your chin, unravel the spine down. Those of you that did wheel, just resting on your back here with the knees bent. Taking some deep breaths, just starting to come into more of a cool down phase here. And then if you have a block underneath the pelvis, you can go ahead and move that out. Lift your hips, move the block out. And we'll all do windshield wipers together. So with the knees bent and the feet as wide as the mat. And the arms out into a T shape. Take a deep breath in here. On your exhale, move the knees, the thighs over to the right. Roll your head to the left. Inhale, head and hips to center. Exhale, knees to the left, head to the right. Now you're more than welcome to move with the breath, back and forth.
Or if you'd like, you can just rest with your legs over to one side, just pausing there for a breath or two. Finishing up so both sides feel even, we'll finish off with a happy baby pose so that you're grabbing your outer edges of your feet or your outer ankles with your hands. And notice how my arms are to the insides of my legs instead of the outsides of the legs. And lowering the head and shoulders once you've grabbed your feet or your ankles. And then just see if you can get your heels away from your sit bones. Notice how the knees are wide. They're aiming outwards like a squat, like a sumo squat. And then you might even rock a little side to side for your happy baby. The Ananda Balasana pose. So the joyful baby, curious baby. The thing I love about having a curious mind, a beginner's mind, is that we can learn not to be so fixated or fixed in our thoughts. That we can learn to question things and learn how to be okay with being wrong sometimes. Learn how to be okay with changing our mind. And I find that when I do that, I live more peacefully. Okay, so for your final relaxation, if you would like, you can use two of your blocks, bringing the feet together, the knees apart, and sliding the blocks underneath the outer hips. If that's uncomfortable for you, then just straighten the legs in traditional Shavasana. And find that your arms are out in a comfortable position for you. And closing your eyes. And here you can endeavor to relinquish your effort. To relinquish control or the sense of wanting to direct your mind. And at first you may notice that when you are paying attention to your breath, that you want to control the breath, that you want to tell the breath what to do. But see if you can start to feel that the breath organically and naturally breathes you. Feel that you are being breathed. And relaxing into the knowing that you are being held and supported by the earth beneath you. And you can surrender into that knowing that you are supported, that you are held, that you are safe.
Back to the sensation of the breath. You can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes a little bit. Move your hands and your feet. And your arms and your legs. And bending your knees. Hugging your knees in towards your chest with your hands and rocking a little bit side to side a few times. And then either rolling to one side to push yourself up to a seat, or rocking up into a seat, maybe sitting up onto a cushion. Just finding where, when you're seated, your two sit bones are rooted, and there is a vertical line where the center of your sacrum is in line with the back of your heart, is in line with the back of your head. And as you firmly root downwards, feel a sense of lifting up. And hopefully you feel more whole, more complete after your practice. You feel more connected to yourself, to your body, to your mind, to your heart. I want to end today with Anusara Invocation. So it's a song that I would sing many, many times before class, sometimes after class. So enjoy. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda